Hello and welcome back to Medium Rare. My name is Rag Reynolds and today we have 4 stories to talk about. But before we get into those, I want to encourage you to go follow me on Twitter and on Instagram, and also check out my Patreon where you can support this channel because my videos often do get demonetized. But now, without further ado, let's just jump right in to the first story. How would you feel if you adopted a child, only to then find out that your child was not a child, but rather your child, who you thought was this young, innocent, pure little thing, was actually a psychopathic, adult, murdering dwarf? That's what happened to this couple. Mr. and Mrs. Barnett from the United States took in this 8-year-old girl, who they thought was a young, innocent girl in need of help from Ukraine. The Sun reports. I apologize for using the Sun as a source here. I really do. That is horrible of me. But this story is so ridiculous, we needed to go to a ridiculous source. Christine Barnett, 45, started to suspect Natalia was no innocent orphan after she adopted her in 2010. She came to believe the new addition to her family was an adult of 22 with dwarfism posing as a child. Christine alleges the imposter tried to poison her, pushed her against an electric fence, and threatened to kill her other children in their sleep. Natalia is said to have smeared blood on mirrors and tried to jump out of a moving car. Today, though, it is Christine and ex-husband Michael who are facing a stretch in prison. They are accused of neglect of a dependent after leaving Natalia to defend for herself in a rented apartment in the US state of Indiana while they moved to Canada. Christine and Michael, 43, are accused of ceasing contact with the vulnerable youngster and giving her no financial support beyond an advance payment of the rent. The case has been compared to the 2009 horror movie Orphan, where a couple adopt a 9-year-old girl who turns out to be at least 2 decades older, then end up fighting for their lives against her. This whole thing just reads like an actual horror movie. Like, honestly, this is quite terrifying. It makes me think, well, I'm never adopting anyone. I'm never adopting. At least if you push something out of your own parts, at least if my girlfriend, my wife, whatever, was to push something out of herself, I can at least be entirely sure that it's not actually a 22-year-old dwarf. I can be sure that my child is my child and not some crazy older person. I mean, I read more of this and I'm like, she was standing over people in the middle of the night. You couldn't go to sleep. I saw her putting chemicals, bleach, glass cleaner, Windex, something like that, in my coffee, and I asked her, "What are you doing?" She said, "I'm trying to poison you." What do you do with something like this? I mean, I'm laughing, but honestly, I don't think it's very funny. This is just so ridiculous. It's one of these stories that's almost too ridiculous to be true, but it's seemingly true. However, there is this court case going on and the parents are being held to blame. These are the parents who are being charged. Authorities state that she was probably no older than 13 when she was placed in the apartment on her own. Anyway, I honestly do not know what to think about all this, but please let me know what your thoughts are on this crazy story in those comments down below. Now, the next thing we're talking about is YouTuber Lars. Now, if you don't know who Lars is, I don't blame you. Lars, the guy who only has 7,000 subscribers. He went kind of viral back when that whole ice cream challenge was a thing. You remember that? When people would go into a store, open a tub of ice cream, lick it, then put it back. There were 1 or 2 people who actually got jailed for doing this. Anyway, Lars made his own video doing the ice cream challenge, and that kind of went a little bit viral. Check it out.
I walked into the store with Cameron, and, you know, we found an ice cream. I opened it up, licked it.
Let's go.
So why is Lars now in the news? Because this was a little while ago. Well, Lars is in the news because he was on Dr. Phil. He was on Dr. Phil playing the victim a little bit, saying that people harass him and trying to bully him online. And while on Dr. Phil, he was also talking a lot about how relevant he is. He was playing himself up. The guy clearly had a bit of an ego. He was saying stuff like, oh, if you talk about me, you can go viral for a day. There are people who've said, oh, I was friends with him, and they got 200,000 likes on their tweet.
Oh, I used to be friends with him. Oh, he's blah, 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 blah. And they would get like 200,000 likes on the tweet.
Okay.
It's like, literally, if you talk about me, you can go viral for a day.
But the one soundbite that kind of came away as the worst received from all of this was something that he said about his parents.
What do y'all's families think about you doing these stunts, these pranks?
I mean, I don't talk to my family. They're irrelevant. None of them have followers. If they got followers or got rich, I'd probably talk to them again.
Now, hang on a minute. Did you just say I don't talk to my family because they don't have followers?
If they had followers, they'd be here right now.
You talking about your mother?
I mean, my mom has more followers than my sister.
It's your mother. What difference she make? What do you care if she has followers or not? It's your mother.
Can anyone tell me like what I would talk to my mom about if she's not going to be making me relevant?
Yeah, like, hi, Mom.
Now I have a career and I'm famous. Like, that's what happens when you get famous. You cut people off.
Honestly, I don't see how this guy has a career. He's got 7,000 subscribers, not very many videos on his channel. I've no idea who he was until this Dr. Phil thing happened, so I have no idea what he's talking about. But before anyone gets too angry, think about this for a second, because personally, I don't believe this guy's being all serious. I think he's doing a little bit of trolling here. I'm 80% sure that this guy isn't being entirely serious. I mean, I'm sure he has a little bit of an ego, a lot of people do, but I'm not convinced that this guy is being genuine in things that he says. I think he's playing it up a little bit. So I'm not going to bite. I'm not going to talk about him too much because that's exactly what he would love for all of us to do. But hey, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in those comments down below. So this next story is another one I don't want to linger too long on, but it's something that's been in the news a little bit in the last couple of weeks, and it's about this YouTuber internet personality, Corrine. And now she's been in some headlines because she was doing a live stream with Chris Hansen. Yeah, that Chris Hansen. And she started talking about Keemstar a little bit, and here's what she had to say.
Yeah, there's a question about Keemstar, about you trying to appear on a show last year, or you attempted to go on a show.
Okay, Keemstar, this is all I know about him. I met him at Ice Poseidon's house last year. I had no idea who he was. He has always, multiple girls have told me that he requires you to have a threesome with him and his girlfriend or whatever he's dating or whatever it is to be on his show. He doesn't really cover a lot of females in IRL. He doesn't do that. He mostly covers boys. He's the one who gave Brian Rizzo, who gave Blade mushrooms at Ice Poseidon's house in Los Angeles to try to get him sober. So I think Keemstar has said the N-word too much, and I think he should be banned from YouTube. And I don't know why he has so much power at YouTube, because he's not supposed to have a channel. I think he uses his girlfriend's channel. But yes, he has been a sexual predator to the women of YouTube, to social media people, and to myself. I've only met him once, but he said he would never let me go on his show. I don't even know anything about his show unless I got together with his girlfriend. So I'm not into that.
So obviously what she just said there, she made some pretty serious accusations there against Keemstar, saying, oh, you can only be on Drama Alert if you do this, do that. And in response to this, we did see a guy who used to be on Drama Alert, a guy who used to be part of the team, Josh Pescatora. He said, what Corinne now says in this clip about Keemstar is 100% false. And if I was him, I would look into putting legal action on her for claiming he requires sex to be on Drama Alert, a show on the internet in New York. What is true is she begged to be on the show in the DM and was rejected. Josh also sent a DM to Corrine, and he did post that publicly for everyone else to see. Hello Corrine, my name is Josh and I worked for Drama Alert for 2 years. You DM'd at Drama Alert DM and I answered most of your messages. There was not one time or message where you were told you had to perform sex acts to be covered on the show, not to mention the fact of how ridiculous that sounds coming from an older woman. You should be ashamed at your behaviour at your age. Everyone knows this is a weak attempt at relevancy by using more famous people's names, but lying about sexual assault is an actionable statement, and if called on it, I will testify to all the facts I have stated, thoroughly exposing your slanderous lies. Have a nice day. And now that's pretty much the furthest we've gotten with any of that, but I will be sure to give any updates if anything more comes of the situation. And the final thing we're talking about today is the second Logan Paul KSI press conference. And now, I'm not going to cover this in its entirety. Honestly, it was a lot of cringe. It wasn't very good, and I recommend giving it a miss. However, what did come of this press conference was a hashtag that started to trend, and it was the hashtag Logan Paul is over party. And now this came because of a comment Logan Paul made directed at KSI regarding abortion. Take a look.
Y'all may not know, but JJ's on his 5th abortion. His 5th. That's 5 babies dead. And I think I'm gonna return the favor, and I might kill you, man. I might end you, man. I'ma light you on fire, bro. I'ma yoss you.
So as you just heard, in that comment Logan Paul, the diss he made towards KSI, he kind of suggested that he is on the pro-life side of things when it comes to the abortion debate. And now this has caused a lot of uproar on social media, hence the hashtag Logan Paul is over party. But we've also seen a lot of people say stuff like, imagine finally cancelling someone for anti-abortion remarks after they've done/said far more problematic things. I have to laugh. And now, as I said, there have been lots and lots of people who have been very much outraged, saying, oh, women's body is their choice, shut up Logan Paul, you don't have a uterus, and all that other stuff you hear during the abortion debate. I mean, you have people on the other side saying, yes, Logan Paul is right, every baby should be protected, and all this other stuff. But what I want to say personally here is that I agree with that tweet I just shown. I think it's ridiculous for people to try and cancel him over this, of all things. I mean, the guy literally filmed a dead body in a suicide forest and posted it on the internet, and somehow people have just kind of moved on from that. He's still making a lot of money. And hey, maybe he has changed. I don't know. But that is certainly way more problematic than this is. Because if you ask me, this is just a certain opinion that a lot of people hold. I don't see what's so cancelable over the fact that Logan Paul is pro-life. I mean, half the country is probably pro-life. I don't know the exact numbers, I'm just throwing that statement out there. But there are a considerable amount of people throughout the entire world, not just in America or whatever. There are so many people who are pro-life, and to say someone's cancelled just because they are pro-life, I think that is a ridiculous, an absolutely ridiculous stance to take, and that's coming from me, who I'm pro-choice, and I think that's a ridiculous stance to take, to say Logan Paul is cancelled and I hate him now because he is pro-life. I mean, I just think that's silly. I do think you can disagree with people on political issues, whatever that issue is, and still not hate them or want to cancel them. I spoke about this a few videos ago. Why do we all have to fight every time a political issue is brought up? Why do we all have to hate each other just because someone disagrees politically? I don't know. I mean, some people are probably going to argue that Logan Paul should have never brought that up at the press conference. He was the one who made it political, trying to bring up abortion as a diss, and he shouldn't have done that. And maybe you're right. But overall, I mean, these press conferences are they're anything goes. I mean, there aren't really any rules here. I mean, I don't think the abortion comment is the most personal or the worst comment that's been made throughout the press conferences between Logan Paul and KSI. I think there's things that have been far worse than that. So to me, the whole thing has just been a little bit silly. Anyway, be sure to let me know what you think about all of that in those comments down below, and be sure to let me know what you think about any of the stories we covered today in those comments. Make sure to leave a like on this video, make sure to subscribe, and until next time, my name is Reynolds, this was Medium Rare, and you are welcome, society.